1, 2. Do you want to go see that thing?
I think we ought to go see it.
See what? What are we going to see?
Is Lockheed in here?
The lock what?
The Lockheed.
Are you talking about the thing you messed up?
The thing you messed up.
It wasn't me.
There's only one tree on the airport.
Instructor. You're the one that's supposed
to.
There's
only
be
one
doing
tree on
everything.
the airport, and you managed to find it. I want to see where this.
I mean, there's trees all up and down the runway.
I want to see how you managed to do this thing.
I swear.
So.
I mean, you screw up my airplane, and now you want to.
I want to see it.
And I got to walk beside. Well, I think I should push you.
All right.
Because like you're actually handicapped.
You've been pushing me the whole time. It's Sunday night. Here's a quick look at the Lockheed. Here's me and Glenn going into the hangar. Check this out. He's pushing me around in the wheelchair, but I'm about to see the Lockheed for the first time here. I'm still trying to get him to do a finger point in a second here, but look at that thing. Look how split open that is. I got a little bit of information about the Lockheed. The NTSB preliminary is out, and I've got a little bit more data to talk about. We're not going to home in on the Lockheed quite so much, just a little bit of an update. And here's Glenn's finger point right here. There you go. It's Sunday night. It's time to watch Probable Cause. Dan Grider, July 14, 2024. Glad to have you with us another Sunday night live. We got a whole bunch of topics to talk about, but I'm going to cut to the chase to make this one kind of short because I've got a big week next week. I got a little video and a big video to put out next week, which I normally don't do much during the week, but I'll talk a little bit more about that. Tonight, I'm just going to give you the accident data on what we've got going on in the month of July and what we've got going on so far for the year 2024. I want to say thank you very much to especially all the first responders, EMT people, and all that kind of thing that helped out with me and Glenn out there. And really especially some of you people who have written cards and sent things and cookies and cookie boxes and care packages. I had no idea that the U.S. Postal Service was even in existence, could deliver that kind of stuff, but it has. So a lot of cards and things like that. I just want to say thank you very much. I got a really cool letter from this guy that I don't even know. That's the cool thing about YouTube. I have no idea who some of these people are, but sent me a really nice letter from someplace up in Pennsylvania. I'll read you just a portion of this thing here because it's kind of cool. And he sent me a tiny little gift here. And he says, in The Right Stuff, the author talks about caricatures of military pilots who firmly believe it would not happen to me due to my great reflexes, skill, brains. They believe this is only when fellow pilots die when their machines break through no fault of their own. You are unique in seeing the human aspect of crashes. No one else, to my knowledge, talks about students overpowering an instructor or how hard it is to put the nose down. No one else makes it clearer than you do about the Venice maneuver, how it plays out, the human aspect of leaving the lights and all visual reference behind you. I think some of this stuff is starting to sink in, and I appreciate that. Our data, I believe, is starting to reflect that. I got this guy up in Wisconsin building me some of this kind of stuff and sending it to me. Some of these refrigerator magnets are just absolutely hilarious here. This thing goes in a refrigerator. Pick none. You know, my whole thing's always been pick one. Well, there's some of you out there, including me and some airplanes, pick none. We don't want to do ice, terrain, night, or IMC. Let's not do any of those in some of those airplanes. But anyway, once again, I appreciate that. All these laser cut things, very, very nice, and I appreciate all of that. Got a quick episode to get up and on the air tonight. If you're in the live chat room with us, make sure you say hello. We'll try to jump in there and answer and say hi as fast as we can. And then I've got a lot of work to do to get 2 videos up for next week, and we get those on the air. Let's jump in here and get started. The NTSB preliminary is out on the Lockheed crash, filled with quite a few errors. My most disappointing aspect of this is that the NTSB guy that came out wanted to collect up money, cell phones, wallets, credit cards, everything loose laying on the floor, including curly cords, anything possible. There was 2 GoPros in there. He got one. He did not find the other one. But the interesting thing is that NTSB guy got there too late after the fact, after our local fire department and our local friends had already gathered up everything. He wanted all that stuff back, including the loose cash and wallets and cell phones from on the floor. He did not get it. The only thing that he got out of that wreckage the very next day when he showed up at about 10 a.m., Johnny-come-lately after the fact, was 1 GoPro. NTSB still has that GoPro. They've collected it, sent it to Washington, D.C. There's nothing on it. I didn't have a single GoPro running during the accident at all. That wasn't the point of the video. How long will it be before I get my GoPro back again? Right now I'm shooting in-flight footage off of this one and this one. Not my first choice. NTSB has my good GoPro because they've collected it. What right do they have to go on board your airplane and collect your personal belongings and not send them back to you? I don't think they've got the right to do that. We'll look at that a little bit further as we go along. Here's the NTSB report. They say that the circumference of the tree that we hit that night was a 2-foot diameter tree. I disagree. Somehow I know what the diameter of that tree is. Remember, circumference is pi times d. This is about a 15-inch diameter tree. This is the actual tree right here. It's about a 4-foot circumference hardwood oak that we hit, crammed it all the way up in the cockpit. Yes, it did disrupt things and disconnect everything like that. The tail wheel is found in the lock position. I don't know how. I'm not exactly sure what position the tail wheel lock was in. It's not really part of my scan on the Lockheed or the Beech 18. I really don't care. I actually prefer to take off and land with the tail wheel unlocked on anything Beech 18 or especially in the Lockheed. It gives me much, much more control over that tail wheel. If I want the nose to go right, I want the nose to be able to go right. Now that's contingent upon the tail wheel being able to be unlocked and being able to move. Also out there that night, I took a look at the B-nut that actually came loose. Let's take a look at this footage. Here's the actual B-nut footage that Dylan shot for me underneath the airplane. I'm showing you exactly what caused the failure. Here it is. So this is the right main landing gear. This is the oleo strut that got rebuilt. This is the liner that goes up and down right here. So there's the two bolts that snap all that stuff together.
I have a question.
What?
You were over here screwing with this before we took off the other day. Why are you back over here again?
I'm just trying to tighten it back up again. I loosened it before.
Oh, okay.
I loosened it up before we flew. So this is the stainless steel braided line. This is the nut that connects it right here, and this is where this thing connects right here via this thing. So if this is loose, fluid, you can already see red fluid on my finger here. This was not tight and it puked fluid. Actually, it lost pressure via this line right here. So this, I think during the retraction, I think this twisted and either cracked or moved or something on this, but this is what caused the accident right here. This is the exact nut that was not proper, or it was not, or it got twisted, or this got twisted, something. That this holds the key to brake pressure for the right side. Has nothing to do with the oleo strut. As you can see, the oleo strut still has proper inflation on it right now. There's nothing wrong with the tire pressure, the gear. There's not a scratch on this gear. There's nothing wrong with this oleo strut. But if you don't have this thing tight right here, you don't have brakes. And there's the problem. That thing transfers through this block all the way down this line that goes to the brake right down here. So there's the route. Fluid comes down through here. You mash the brake pedal, you're sending fluid all down this line to the brake. That's what we didn't have. That's what it is. Also got a quick interview with Kenny. He's the guy that jumped in action, ran towards the danger with the water truck, was the first to get there and start pumping water. Absolutely saved 3 lives instantly that night. Kenny has a water irrigation, pressure washing spray business of some kind. I'm going to put the graphic on the screen for you here right now. But he showed up, and he's a Miller Lite guy, and wanted to bring a Miller Lite. So we actually gave him a case and sent him home with a case of it. And I'm sure we'll have a chance to eat dinner and hang around with Kenny here. His name's Kenny Hooper, Jackson, Georgia. We sure appreciate all those guys, including Kenny with the water truck, that helped us out that night.
So the hoses pull straight off the back. So when we get to a job, we just back straight up to what we're working on. And
it was running and backfiring, and from my seat, it was dumping oil on Jason, but I could smell Hunter low lead. The fumes were like, it was hot in there, and the fumes were like, I kept on thinking, time this thing goes pop, that's going to be the last. That's going to be it. But water, I think water totally knocked down that Hunter low lead vapor thing and put a water mist on top of the vapor, which totally nullified the fire aspect out of that thing.
I believe you're right.
So, right place at the right time, brother.
That's right.
It was
a blessing to be there. It was definitely an eventful afternoon. Wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. Well, you brought a Miller Lite. We got something for you here. I'll hold the camera down. Run grab what we brought something for you.
You don't have to bring me anything. I mean, I was
Well,
glad to help.
Now, when you run towards danger and put water on a fire, I think you deserve at least a Miller Lite. So
Well, I appreciate it. There you go.
Get some
Thank you, thank
mildly
you.
warm beer.
That'll work. We can cool them down. Thank you, thank you.
we brought you a case of Miller Lite,
That'll work. 2 of them.
so it should be good.
That's right. I appreciate it, man.
No, I
I'm glad to
appreciate-
see you're doing so good.
Oh
You and
no, I
Glenn
am.
and everybody.
I'm good, and this is getting stronger all the time. So I think we're going to be good. But Hooper, Big Moose Hooper, what is it?
Big Moose Pressure Cleaning. My name's Kenny Hooper.
Kenny Hooper.
Kenny Hooper, yep.
Big Moose pressure cleaning. But man, having that water truck there, and all you guys, you're not EMTs or fire trained, but you jump in action and go put the fire out. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, if I'd had any training, I might not have jumped in. I didn't have sense enough to hang out and stand by. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you again, sir.
You're very
Appreciate
welcome.
you coming out.
Yes, sir. It's good to meet you.
Totally awesome.
Thank you. I'm glad y'all made it through.
Kenny is interested in learning how to fly, so we had quite a bit of good conversation about aviation, learning to fly. He is interested in becoming a pilot and getting his own airplane, so we had a chance to talk. Maybe, wouldn't it be cool if Kenny became a pilot? We'll see. We'll see how that transpires down the road here. Anyway, that's it for the Lockheed. Lots and lots of errors. I'm going to let you know when NTSB finally sends that thing back. Here's a picture of the guy that stole my GoPro out of the airplane. Here's his picture right here. His name's Eric, and I'm not very happy about that. No communication, no anything. I've talked to Eric on the phone because I found him and called him at his home. He told me he had it. He told me he removed it, and he told me he sent it to Jennifer. That's where it's at. Why it's still there today? They've got my equipment, my SD card. There's nothing on that. I have no idea. But Eric, I'm talking to you. I want my GoPro back, and I want it back immediately. Do we understand each other? You know, this whole job of speculation and everything that we got here on all this stuff is crazy. I do the very best I can. I make a good, educated guess. Sometimes I miss. When I do, I go back and update it a little bit later. I got one up from May 4th of this year. I want to update the N number on this particular airplane. May 4th, I'll show you the date on the screen, is November 14323. This is... we couldn't figure out at first, but the data has come in here lately that I've been able to find out after the fact. This is a gun, stock barrel of a gun that got caught down, wedged down in the stick on the Super Cub out in Montana, caused the death of both of these guys out there. And I think that's my best guess as of right now. That's unconfirmed rumor from the people that know and were there and got to the wreckage first. I don't have anything in writing officially to confirm any of that. The next one I made a mistake on. This is the couple that we talked about flying the 1934 Waco biplane. Or was it a biplane? No, I think it's a high-wing monoplane out in Kansas. I said it was day VFR flatland. Turns out this was North Kansas. It was kind of rolling terrain, and it was... The weather was not good. It was scuddy, and they were scud running. They scud run right into the hill. I initially pegged this as an in-flight fire because they must have been at altitude and the airplane ended up on fire. In this particular case, I think the airplane caught fire after it hit. I think they scud runned it into the terrain out there. One person that I talked to said that the weather was absolutely visibility 1/8 in fog, and it took them a long time to find that airplane. So I think that sheds a little bit of new light on that particular accident. And that couple, the couple that everybody knows from the vintage Waco community out there, horrible accident, and that airplane completely destroyed. Just goes to show you scud running day or night is just not a good idea. Here's the July data. I'll put it on the screen here for you, and I'm going to go over a little bit of this here real quick here. We've already talked about the 172. This is the very first one here. That's a full flap go around, I still believe. And then the second one here, that's the one, Eden Shalev, age 53, started his acro too low. I've got video of that now. Did a full flat spin all the way into the water, tried to get out and could not do it. Then the Scorpion, Vincent Faber, age 70, out in Kansas, picked up off of his home lot there, got up to about 100 feet, had an engine failure, did not have enough altitude is what it sounds like to get an auto rotate out of it. And then the low tide, the the 7GCBC out in Washington. I don't have a name out there. They just said he was 40 years old. It sure looks like a low tot taken off south. Then the Allegro in Utah, Larry Kellogg, age 49. It looks like a stall spin. This thing hit vertical. Here is a little bit of image, aerial helicopter image of the impact site on this thing. Day VFR, nothing going on out there. Larry was by himself when that hit. And then the 182A, Adam Plummer, 59 years old, VFR and IMC. Adam selected all three. You talk about all four. The only thing he didn't have was icing. He did night, terrain, and IMC. He tried to get this airplane from A to B, had 3 people on board, all of them skydivers, all of them could have jumped, all of them could have done anything if they had any kind of altitude, but all 3 dead. They lost 182 and they lost 3 people trying to scud run at night over the terrain. Like, what are we possibly thinking here? The very last one here, I'll show you here, this last one here is a complete mystery. This is a PA-28161. This is a Warrior. Giorgio Domeniak, 58 years old. He's down in Florida. They've been out flying. He's on his last flight prior to taking his instrument rating check ride. I think this looks like a missed approach and a wing fell off. And the only reason I say that is because on the helicopter video footage, I'll show it to you here on the screen here right now. This is the helicopter footage showing where the wing of the airplane is compared to the rest of the airplane. They're both in a pond, but they're a very, very long ways away. I don't know if that wing could have floated or drifted because of the wind that far away that quickly, but they are a long ways apart. This reminds me of all the other Piper accidents that we've had recently where the wing falls off in flight. Remember, there's an AD on these Pipers, these low-wing Pipers, where the wing falls off. It's a Florida airplane. It's corrosion. It's flight school. It's all that kind of stuff. So is it possible? Yes, it is. Don't know yet. Metallurgy, and this is where NTSB could actually perform a useful function and tell us which happened first, the chicken or the egg. I don't know if the wing fell off and it caused him to crash, or I don't know if it crashed, which caused the wing to fall off. Don't know yet. I'm going to go out on a limb and guess. I think the wing fell off during the go-around here. I think this is another aggressive pull-up and lost a wing in flight into the water they go. Let's take a look at the data here. I'm going to show it to you on the screen here. This is 2023. We have 93 of them. For 2024, we have 70. That's 23 less so far for the year this year. And then that makes it 10.89 fatals per month, which is really good. Now, let's go on and let's take a look at, I've had so many questions about, yes, but are we flying less because of the economy? Are we flying less? Let's take a look at that. So I'll put this graphic up on the board. This is not my graphic necessarily. This is FAA data, and I'll show it to you. This is the goal of the FAA is to reduce U.S.-owned general aviation fatal accidents, same as me. This is U.S. general aviation fatal accidents per 100,000 flight hours. And if you notice, the number of fatals we had in 2019, 2020, 2021, this number going across here is gradually becoming less and less. The number in red, 130, that's my number projected out for the year 2024 at the current rate. If we continue on at exactly what we got going right now, we would end up at 130. Fatals per month, this is actual data. 2019, we had 18, 17, 15.91, 15.25. 2023, we ended up with 14.5 fatals per month. Right now, currently, we're at 10.89 fatals per month. I think it's outstanding, still way too high, but boy, compared to last year was a banner year. And yes, we have correlated it to the number of flight hours flown. Yes, we are flying at or above previous levels. We are crashing airplanes less. I get more and more and more calls. So I'll put this graphic on the screen here right now. Here's another airplane, had a loss of thrust on takeoff. You never heard about it because they landed straight ahead on an open field and everybody's fine. This is happening 10 times a week now. We're converting our incidents into non-fatals that are not showing up on my fatal list. We're saving lives and saving airplanes. Land the airplane. Go straight ahead. Don't stall that airplane. Pay attention to what you're doing out there. If you have a rotot, consider taking your rotot straight ahead, under power, find an open field, and put it down. Loss of thrust on takeoff. The decision's been made for you. Little left or little right, but you find someplace full flapped and go straight ahead, open the door, step out, under your seatbelt, step out on the wing and call me. That's all you got to do, and it's going to be totally fine. A lot of mid-airs here lately, a lot, and there's going to be a lot of more mid-airs. Dylan and I went out, and I actually jumped in an airplane here last Wednesday night with Dylan. We went out, and we made a quick video. We went over to Falcon Field, and runway 31 was very busy, very active, lots and lots of airplanes. in the pattern for runway 31. We ended up on a 13-mile final for runway 13, head on with all the traffic by design, on purpose. We built a little position report counter into the video, and I'm going to show that to you here next year. But here's the, we ended up, of all the airplanes in there, we ended up head on with a girl who was touch and go on 3-1, and we were on final for 1-3. Nobody said a word until I did. Here's the very last sequence of that. I'm going to post that video in its entirety. It'll stay up and on the air forever to stay. That's a ride-along video. It's coming Tuesday night next week. It'll be on, it'll come out sometime Tuesday night next week, and I'll show you that video with all the graphics. I want you to consider communication in the traffic pattern. Go ahead and talk to the other airplanes. If it looks close, if you need to work it out, say hi, call them by number. Notice in this video, here's where I call this girl by N number, and look how fast she responds. Here's that video.
Here we go across Kebab. We're going to descend down to 1600.
All right, for landing checklist. Now I'm going to talk to Echo Papa. There's not a person out here that's initiated any communication, and we're head on with Echo Papa right now. You agree?
I agree.
Echo Papa, how you copy?
Loud and clear, help me.
Loud and clear. We're on a 4-mile final, runway 13, circle to land 31. I got you in sight. Just want to make sure you're good.
All right, we'll make sure to stay out of your way. We are on the roll now.
Yeah, no, just do what you need to do. I just wanted to give you a heads up. I got a landing light on the opposite direction to you, and I got you in sight.
All right, sounds good. Falcon Traffic 40 Echo Papa is on the go. Will be remaining in the pattern, Falcon.
Falcon Traffic,
Stay there.
856,
Yeah.
fuel for the
I communicated with her and worked it out.
Falcon Traffic, track 789, Foxtrot Alpha, 10-mile final for the ILS 31, Falcon Traffic.
Yeah, it's
Falcon Traffic, Delta Papa, 2 to the north, crossing 2,300, do a right here, left downwind, I have the upwind traffic in sight, Falcon.
whoever's behind her is going to be the traffic.
8264 November, you guys can go ahead and we will follow behind you on the crosswind. This is 408 Echo Papa.
Well, we're going to take it on down a little bit lower, so if you want to turn out, you're welcome to it. We will follow you.
All right, sounds good. Turning left crosswind now. Falcon Traffic 40 Echo Papa, left crosswind 31 Falcon.
Thank you. See there? Once communication started, it's easy to work something out.
There you go.
And she offered to be nice, do a little extra flying. There she is right there, going right over the runway right now. See her?
Yep.
All right, so level off at about
Falcon
1600.
Traffic 40 Echo Papa is turning left downwind 31 Falcon.
And you can start to turn to the right and follow her. So that's very interesting concept here. Traffic pattern, communication. Remember, when you're in the traffic pattern, a position report does not necessarily make a handshake deal. You haven't worked anything out with anybody if you're only making position reports. The only other video I got to do next week here, it'll come out Wednesday night, 9:30 Eastern time. It'll be a premiere. It's a big one. EAA, flying into EAA, all the things I've been working for the last year and a half. The number 3 guy at FAA, an actual FAA ATC guy employed by FAA, I'm going to play his voice, his conversation. I recorded the call and he didn't know it. No, that's not fair, but getting killed in an airplane is not fair. We agreed that something was going to be done by the time EAA AirVenture 2024 rolled around. What's been done? Nothing. He put it in writing, and he told me that Jack Pelton, EAA, would never listen to him and never consider his input. I think that's true. I've looked at the NOTAM. There is so much wrong with all of this. There's going to be deaths at EAA AirVenture again this year because of the things that could be fixed that are not fixed. It's business as usual. I'm going to produce this video. I'm going to let you hear his voice uninterrupted Wednesday night, and when you hear it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. No, I am not anti-EAA. I am not anti-AirVenture. I love AirVenture. I've been there 20 times, probably 30. I've had some of the very best times of my life, my best friends, my best experience, my best aviation experiences. A lot of them have been at AirVenture. Most of them have been after 8 p.m. with the Banjo, but I love the place. I love the environment. I love the people. I love the friends, and I love the aircraft. We have to keep it going, and the only way we can keep it going is to address this problem. sweeping it under the rug and pretending like this is never going to happen and nothing is ever wrong is not going to fix it. I have waited. I have stood by. I have marked time. Enough's enough. I'm dropping this video Wednesday night. You make your decision, your call. I'm not trying to destroy EAA or AirVenture. I'm trying to keep my fellow aviator alive because there's so much problem. I'm going to step through the problems and tell you exactly where you're going to get killed at EAA, AirVenture, and what they don't have fixed and what they will not acknowledge. It's crazy. I want you to hear that. I'm going to get this video up and on the air. That's all I got for tonight. Very short video. I've got 6 days worth of work to do in the next 2 days to get all this stuff done. So I'm going to get this video done. I appreciate you guys hanging in here and checking in and saying hi. For my tiny little itty bitty fledgling YouTube channel, Dan Grider. Problem cause.